than ever. I'm Tamara.
I'm Kelly.
And this is
Ghoul Beans.
Today is... Oh, I'm so sorry to step on you.
No, step away.
Today's going to be a little bit of a different episode.
Yeah, we are so excited to introduce Ghouls being ghouls.
Ghouls being ghouls.
We are here to freak ourselves out.
Yes.
Freak you out.
Yeah. And you're here to freak us out. That's what that's about. I mean, people are writing in.
That's so perfect. This is going to be listener stories / stories we found on Reddit because no one knew to send us listener stories yet. But a few did. A few Reddit people were so kind and gave us their personal stories, so we will shout them out. But yeah.
We will shout out their Reddit usernames.
Yeah, I'll shout it to the void.
Hopefully they're also listening, otherwise...
For sure. Well, probably not.
That's okay.
They're podcast famous.
They gave them to us for free.
They did.
Out of the kindness of their souls.
Yeah, so for future reference, please send us any ghost stories that you may have. Ghost stories, if you've seen Mothman, I would like to know that as well.
Yeah, Bigfoot.
Nessie. I got pretty big feet.
Get out of here. Take a hike.
Show me your size 12s. Oh, I'll take a hike. That was beautiful.
I know, you missed it. It's fine.
Anyway, what are we sipping on? What are the beans today, Tamara?
You took us to a coffee shop.
It was so cute.
Called My Half of the Sky. Right?
My Half of the Sky Coffee House. You were right. Yeah.
Kelly took us to a nice little coffee shop called My Half of the Sky.
Mm-hmm.
It's easily one of the cutest coffee shops I've ever been in. It's a home.
It's literally a house in Wheaton, Illinois. And they sell local jewelry and totes and goodies.
Yeah, and
mugs.
The coffee?
I love mugs.
How are we feeling about the coffee?
Yeah, the coffee is great. They had really cool flavors. I got an iced latte horchata flavor, and I am a slut for horchata. I will.
Good, me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
I once got really sick off of a horchata popsicle that was just sitting kind of out in this taco shack that was
milk.
It was on the side of the highway in Colorado.
That's rice water.
Can you ask me why I even stepped foot in that at the height of my contamination fear? And then I was like, let me get a milk popsicle.
Kelly has a history of engaging in risky food behavior. Love a good, gas station coffee.
Love a good gas station coffee.
A college cafe tamale.
Oh, I was eating those by literally the box full.
I didn't have one.
And they were great.
Were they? They looked like...
I never got sick off of it.
I didn't
feel great after it, but it was also cafeteria food.
What's your definition of sick? Because you did absolutely get sick.
I was regular. I don't know what you're talking about.
That's regular? Don't fucking sign me up for that. You were regularly irregular.
The way that you're fine with milk, I was fine with those.
Okay, that's different. I do have a dairy issue that I am ignoring. That being said...
And I have a cafeteria tamale issue that I am ignoring.
It's not an issue for you.
No.
You liked it.
Yeah.
You love it still.
And we passed on the way a 7-Eleven featuring gas station tacos. No, tamales.
They was a taco shop that had a deal on tamales.
It was get a box for $1, and I thought about it.
I have oat milk in this. I'm cheating a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm having an iced chai. You'll find that I like a dirty chai.
Who doesn't? When I
was like, probably a lot of people don't.
When I worked at Starbucks, my favorite thing was when people would order, because dirty means espresso. I don't know if people know that, but if you're not a coffee lover, if you ask for a non-espresso drink dirty, it means you're getting espresso in it. Mm-hmm. And we had Oprah chai during, when I first started at Starbucks. It was you get regular chai or Oprah chai. People would ask for an Oprah chai with a shot, and I'd be like, oh, one dirty Oprah coming up.
Have you seen that TikTok that's dirty, filthy slut chai? You go from
ma'am, it's 4 a.m.
You go from ordering a dirty chai to like a nasty, filthy chai. I like mine lightly dirty.
Filthy.
I put one single shot of dirt in my chai. And my fall drink at Starbucks anyway, when I'm going to Starbucks, is a pumpkin cream cold brew or an iced dirty chai with the pumpkin cold foam on top.
Ooh.
It's delicious.
That would be so good. I will say this chai is better than Starbucks chai.
Oh, it's no comparison.
I sold my soul to Starbucks when I started there. I will support them forever, unfortunately. Like, I feel like it's not great to claim, especially in the world of small businesses deserve a lot more, but...
It's not that you're, like, Starbucks is the best coffee in the world.
No, Starbucks is one of the worst coffees you can get, I think, in almost every scenario. Like, the brewed coffees...
There goes our Starbucks sponsor. There it went. Never even showed up. Bye.
No, you still get all my money though, and I'll
Say
still
bye to the
recommend.
mermaid.
It's just
girl. That's a mermaid.
She's a siren when
She's
her
Queen
tail
Mermaid.
splits in half. Well, riddle me that. She's got legs, but they're two tails.
What does that tail do?
You know what that tail does.
I wish I knew what that tail did.
So anyway,
I'm enjoying it. We like my half of the sky. Recommend you go.
Yeah.
You can rent like little study spaces. We might have to record one of them.
Yeah, I think it's so cute. So then we'll definitely double up on the coffee. We'll try a different coffee there if we actually end up recording there again, or recording there. But it's so cute. The top half reserved for recording space. The bottom, like, couple rooms had some, well, okay, I call it recording space, but they're called study rooms.
Yeah, like they would be our recording space.
Yeah.
But you could potentially do anything in there. And they were like it's really well lit. It's the opposite of a scary house.
Yeah, no, and the girls there that were working were so kind, and the main space, though no one was following the rules, was to promote conversation. They were like, put your laptops away. If you want to work here, you can rent out a space or, like, just go into the space. I don't even know if it was, like, costing money, but they were, like, promoting conversation in their little cafe, and I loved it.
We were the only ones having conversation.
People were not following the rules. There were a lot of laptops out.
I don't know if it's a rule. But
so there was a sign.
They were ignoring it. That's okay.
But yeah, anyway, highly recommend that coffee shop. Would totally go. These drinks are great. They're great.
I really like them. I would rate this.
How many beans in a bag? It's a small bag because it's 1 to 10.
How many beans in a sheet? I don't know. I'm in the marketing. I'm trying to stay on brand.
How many beans in the sheet?
Ooh.
3 sheets to the bean.
Whoop. Bada bean, bada boom.
Cut the sheet.
That was really good.
Thank you. I loved that. But
8
for real.
beans.
Beans.
How many beans?
I would say, honestly, 8 beans as well. I would absolutely go back and get the exact same drink. So that's good.
Yeah, I would go back and get what you got and what I got.
I would absolutely go get what you got. And you asked me if I liked chai, and the real answer was not normally. I don't know why I said yes. I think I just wanted
Confidently,
to.
by the way.
I was like, I love it. It's my blood.
I only get chai.
I bleed chai.
I was like, I've never seen you get chai.
I don't like the flavor normally.
But this one is good.
I would get that. I would really get it. It's really good. I like that like chai bits are floating in it, but it's not like sand in my teeth.
This is like somehow seasoned. I know that chai is like
well seasoned.
Wow.
Not a season.
No, it's not a season. But there's lots of
it's
like
spring, fall chai.
Okay. Alright, it's getting weird in here. But you normally I guess what I'm trying to say is you can't normally see like the flavor bits. There's flavor bits in here.
There are flavor bits. I don't have any. Well, actually, there's like cinnamon flavor bits on the bottom of mine as well. Oh. I could shake it a little.
Not you screaming into the mic.
It's a stressful ASMR.
Stressful. Oh, it's about to get real stressful in here.
It is. Yes. So Tamara, I wanted to ask you, why do we scare this week? What's been going on that makes you fearful or hope for fear?
What's been making me scared is literally reading these stories out loud in my apartment, which is, I mean, now it's getting so scary in there. I've been seeing what I call a mist. I know that's not normal. Right? It's not dust either.
No.
It could be dark in my apartment and there's like a white mist that like shifts around. There's also a gray cat.
Yeah.
Has been there since the beginning. Me and my partner will look at each other and be like, I just saw the cat. And we just ignore it.
And you have a cat, so you know it's not that cat.
It's not a gray cat.
It's not a gray cat.
I have an orange and white cat.
Very different color scheme.
And also different size. And it looks like completely different.
Oh my god.
Like this one has a tail. My cat doesn't have a tail.
Yeah, for sure. That's a big distinction.
Yeah, huge.
Very easy to tell.
That's why I'm scared. Why are you scared?
I'm scared because, well, I'm not scared, but I enjoy the scares this week because I'm almost at the end of my classes for the quarter.
Woohoo!
Thank you. And, yeah, no, it's just like peak stress.
When does your quarter end?
It ends next week. Next week's my last week.
Weird quarter.
Yeah. And then I've got 2 weeks off and I start back up.
It's kind of like DePaul.
It's exactly like DePaul. I feel like I really lucked out because normal college is semesters, which is 16 weeks, 20 weeks.
It's
Too much.
16. I'm in a normal semester right now.
Yeah, and I feel like obviously going from DePaul was 10 weeks, I believe, right?
Yeah, DePaul's on a different schedule than most other schools, at least in Illinois. We're at 10 weeks. So everything's on hyper drive.
It's 4 quarters, so you do 1 quarter in the fall to winter, and then winter to spring and spring to summer, and then summer quarter is usually optional for DePaul, but that's how they do it. So it is, you learn a lot, very jam-packed. You probably skip a lot of intro shit stuff.
Yeah.
I swear, it's okay.
Not you apologizing. I said fuck earlier. You don't need to apologize.
So I feel lucky because I feel like if I had come from, especially for masters, if I had come from 16 weeks and gone into 10 weeks, it would have been rough. But going through all of the baccalaureate, is that how you say it?
Baccalaureate.
I earned that hospitality baccalaureate.
You did. You earned it.
I did. I earned it. I did earn it.
Yeah. I mean, it's here.
I have it. I went to the classes, but it is for hospitality.
My partners, our audience today, also got a degree in hospitality.
Yeah. At least you're using it. At least you're in the field.
Lou, shout hey to the podcast. Hey.
That's the hey of a hospitality degree. But yeah, so I feel lucky but stressed out, so the spooky stories have really helped me
decompress.
Yeah. I was going to say grow, but I haven't done anything. Okay, so to get into our first little ghoul chatter, I'm going to read a post off of Reddit that we found.
r/ghost stories.
r/ghost stories, because those are the real deal. And it's by Subinia.
I can't read that from here. You're going to have to do it for us both.
My apologies if that's not how you say your little handle, but is it called a handle on Reddit? I'm 1,000 years old.
No, you're not. I also don't know how to. This is a learning experience for us both.
So if anyone knows Reddit, you can totally Reddit user Subinia.
Amazing.
Okay, so here's the story. We had recently moved into our new big house in a small village near the city. The house had 2 floors, and the rooms were downstairs, and the living room upstairs. It says area, but I keep saying room. The living room, we had this 10-meter long balcony door that you could see all the way to the city, as we were the first house of the village. When did they move there? In the 1900s? Maybe technically 1994 is the 1900s.
The village, people still use village.
Do you?
Village of in the hills.
Do you see on TikTok all of the young people saying oh, you grew up in the 1900s? I love it. I was born in the 1900s. Everybody.
We watched a YouTube video and this guy signed off by saying, "I wasn't even born in 2003."
Not 2003. It was just 2003. I feel.
No, 2003 is 20 years ago, Queen.
That's wild. Okay. Anyway, so she's in a village. Or they. I don't know their pronouns. So one night around 7 p.m., I was sitting with my mom watching TV on the couch. Europe. Love it. Very haunted. My father was taking my 2 sisters to the gymnastics practice. Okay, we're back in modern times. They didn't have gymnastics. Like
Why
in the
not?
old days?
Yeah, they did.
What were the uneven bars? Just like high trees,
They were uneven
branches? I like to watch the cars leaving towards the cities and disappearing into the distance. So that's what I did with my father's car. After a while, I turned again towards the TV. A few minutes passed, and I clearly heard my little sister giggling loud from downstairs.
The giggling.
I was horrified as I just saw my sisters getting in the car and leaving with my father. However, the TV was loud, and I reassured myself that it was the sound from the TV, probably. Then I see my mom standing up and reaching for the TV remote, and she asked me if I heard my sister giggling. I told her that I did, and together we went toward the stairs. Then my mom called my sister twice with no reply. I'm really getting tears in my eyes.
Jesus Christ.
We stood there for 10 seconds and everything was quiet. All of a sudden, we both hear my father scream, "Hey!" Horrifying. My mom ran in the kitchen, called my father, and asked him where they are. Where are they? He replied that they just arrived at the city. Then my mom grabbed a golf club, and together we went downstairs as we thought it was probably a robber taunting us. We searched every inch of the house, inside wardrobes and under beds. No one was there. This happened in the middle of winter, and all the windows were closed, so this wasn't someone from outside.
Very classic horror. It's very similar to the story that you told, that you would hear your mom calling for you.
For sure. I think it's gross that, like, they called it out, and then it was like, let's get more aggressive. And, like, mimic a different family member. Disgusting.
The mimicking thing is something that definitely makes my stomach turn when it's happened to me. Because it's definitely happened to me. It's happened to me. A ghostie was using my partner's voice. Ghostie was using...
Yeah.
I know.
Sorry.
That's going to be its own episode.
That needs to be, because it's honestly like, maybe we can both share our scariest, like, experiences. Mine's like 3 seconds long, so it'll give you enough time to tell your entire, like, last year experience.
Last year, any of the years I was in my old home. But yeah, the mimicking thing, I mean, a mimic spirit, I feel like, is its own thing.
I think that,
like, lore-wise.
Lore-wise, I do believe it's connected to, like, demons and stuff. Just because...
You don't have to whisper.
I don't like putting the energy in the world.
That's fair.
But I think, like, realistically, they say any ghost that's trying to, like, trick you or anything like that.
Oh,
like,
yeah, up to no good.
Yeah, is definitely more of, like, a demon search. I did go down on that word. Just because it's, like, negative intentions versus just, like, neutral intentions, kind of.
Not like a jokester, but, like, what is it? Malevolent?
Malevolent. Yeah, just because it's, trying to, like... It's Maleficent.
I wouldn't mind that. Angelina Jolie.
In my kitchen?
With them cheekbones. And them horns. It would be on tonight. Anyway.
No, but for real, I think that's what I've heard. That's what I've heard watching the Many a Ghost show, is that, like, if it's trying to trick you, it's not a great partner to have in your house.
For sure. And I like that this was honestly like a nice little blurb to get us in the spooky mood, because mine's a little long.
I'm excited. I'm ready to hear it.
And I feel like mine's a little scarier.
Oh, I'm really excited to hear it.
Get your scary sheets on.
Hang under the covers. Pull the sheets up to your neck. No, that one was weird.
Actually, I didn't do that. When I would get scared, I would cover everything but my mouth for breathing.
No, like the little hole, like a snorkel.
Or like, if I had a straw, like a boba straw, that I could suck air out, so nothing would be exposed. I would create a little hole. Not like my mouth, not the size of my mouth, even smaller.
Honestly,
then the airflow would hit my nose.
Something I do still if I get, like, spooked, because obviously I watch scary stuff all the time. I'll make sure my ears are covered, because I'm like, I can keep my eyes closed, but, like, if I hear something, that's no bueno.
I've noticed that about you.
Yeah.
That you go to ears.
I'll fall asleep, and, like, if I start to think about just something scary, as you do right as you're falling asleep in the middle of the night, I'll, like, pull the cover up just above my ear. So no one's whispering me to sleep, is what I'm saying. Okay, let's listen to your beautiful story.
Okay, mine's from r/no sleep. I know you guys are familiar with Mr. No Sleep.
Mr. No Sleep.
We used to go on No Sleep and read each other scary stories in college.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's what we would do. We'd hang out and we'd be like, you want to just, like, read scary stories?
Yeah, like, if we weren't, like, taking shots.
For sure.
Or avoiding schoolwork, we were reading these scary stories.
Don't get it twisted. We weren't taking shots at, like, parties or anything. We were definitely just, like...
Speak for yourself. I was absolutely taking shots at parties.
Yeah, we were going to parties, but I'm thinking about the time we, like, obliterated ourselves to go on, like, a
we don't need
cute
to do that.
little sophomore trip to Second City.
Anyway. Okay, so this one is from Reddit user OKU9707.
Okay.
They did not send this in. I found this on my own volition. This is called I Won't Be Working Overnight Anymore.
Oh, shit. Me neither.
I never will.
Never can.
Okay. I do IT work for a growing company in Northern Virginia. Specifically, I am one of their exchange admins, i.e., I am one of several people on a team that manage the company's mailbox servers. I work on the 3rd floor of our 3-story office in a room at the end of a long hallway. That is crucial.
Okay.
We can tell that that's crucial.
We don't love a long hallway, sitch.
I'm our team's overnight guy, and I don't mind filling that role in the least. In fact, I prefer it to working during the day because the building is almost completely empty at night, save for a few other folks scattered throughout the building. It's quiet and it's slow, which means I get to keep the lights low in the office, snuggle into my hoodie, watch YouTube or Amazon Prime, and nap. That sounds ideal. I do periodically check the health of our exchange servers and perform routine maintenance when it's needed, but they rarely go down or experience issues. Overall, it's not a bad deal. Recently, our day crew started sharing our office, a large room full of cubicles, with some of the directory services guys, but I never see them since they don't have anyone from their team working overnights. A couple of weeks ago, though, I started noticing one cubicle way back in the far corner of our office. It consistently has its desk lamp on and the sound of mouse clicking and typing coming from it.
Ew, what? But he's alone always?
Typically at the night shift, yeah.
Ew.
I think, yeah. Not a big deal. It just meant that one of the DS guys was probably pulling some overnight shifts or doing some after-hours work on the domain controllers. Oh. There's a lot of jargon that I don't know what it means.
It's so funny. I literally work with this, so I'm like, in my head, I'm like, this could be me. It's me in this office at night.
Whenever I'd come in and see the glow from the lamp emanating from that cubicle, I felt reassured. It meant that there was another human being in our office, which made me feel a little less lonely, but they were far enough away from my own cubicle that I felt no pressure to interact with them socially. Perfect. Every so often, I'd hear them typing away on a mechanical keyboard. I loved the clickety-clack sound it made. Eventually, after a week went by, I figured the polite thing to do would be for me to briefly introduce myself and see who was working the shift with me. I mustered up my courage, my heart beating a bit faster than normal at the prospect of having to employ my rusty social skills, and walked purposefully back to this person's cubicle.
No, I don't want to know.
The energy in here got really intense when I started reading this.
They meet a nice coworker, and now they're friends, is how I think this story ends.
Okay. That's fine. The lamp was still on. Oh, wait, did I? Yeah, okay. The lamp was still on, and the monitor hadn't gone to sleep, but the computer was locked, which probably meant that whoever it was had just ducked out to pee or grab some snacks or drink from the vending machines down the hall. I walked back to my desk and slumped into my chair, feeling like I dodged a bullet by not having to speak to whoever it was and make small talk after all. I later heard the door to the office open and heard him shuffling. It actually sounded a lot like something being dragged over the cheap, thin carpet that lines the office floors over to the cubicle, and then heard the creak of the office chair and the resuming sound of the clickety-clack on the keyboard. Over the next week or so, I made several more attempts to meet this guy or girl, to introduce myself, but every time I did, it would seem that I had just missed them. So I eventually gave up and patted myself on the back for at least making a half-hearted effort to meet them. Better than me, sir.
I would quit, so way better than me.
I would have given up.
I would have never taken a night job.
At the end of my shift a couple days ago, I get off at 6 a.m. I was gathering myself to leave and noticed that the clack-clack-clack of the keyboard in the other cubicle had gone silent around the same time. I poked my head over the top of my cube to see if maybe I could catch a glimpse of this elusive guy, and nearly had a heart attack. When I looked over to his cubicle, lit by the soft glow of the desk lamp, I finally saw him for the first time. More accurately, I saw the top half of his face. He looked to be middle-aged with stringy black hair and was peering over his own cubicle, staring right at me.
Ew, full body chills.
The rest of his face was obscured by his cube wall, but it looked as if he had a huge grin plastered on his face.
Oh my god.
His eyes were vacant, but I could tell he was grinning because of the lines and wrinkles on his face and raised eyebrows. I was so startled and flustered by this that I ducked back down, hurriedly stuffed the rest of my belongings into my backpack, and made for the exit. It was time to go anyway, and I wasn't about to stick around with some weirdo in case he wanted to do more than just introduce himself to me. I should stop here and clarify that, in addition to the TV shows and movies I watched to pass the time during my shifts, I listen to a lot of true crime podcasts.
Classic.
I listen to a lot of true crime podcasts, so my imagination was running wild. At least he came out and said that.
For sure. No, yeah. That's definitely good. We love someone like being like, well, maybe it's not.
Yeah.
Unlike me, the second something happens, I'm like, obviously that was a ghost.
Yeah, this guy's like, okay, like, let's keep in mind that I was already freaked out.
I feel like that is what happens. Like, you can blow up something small and be like, oh my god, that's probably a ghost. But then, like, when something real happens, you're like, honestly, it probably wasn't. But then you're like, you get reassuring, you like tell someone or you like confirm, and you're like, I don't know, maybe it was.
I really like when I'm disproven. Like, if
Yeah.
something happens in the house and then Luce, my partner, will be like, actually, it was definitely just this because look at the way it's fake. Like, it was just a fan.
Like, oh, thank God.
Literally, it's like you're there.
Yeah.
Oh, hallelujah.
Mm.
Okay. His imagination's running wild. I briskly walked to the door, but as I did, I made the mistake of looking back to his cube one last time and saw the upper half of his face still staring unblinkingly at me, but definitely now moving to exit his own cubicle. I looked away quickly and picked up my pace. Just 10 or so more feet.
Okay.
Are you concerned about something?
Yeah, the story.
Oh. I was like, is the audio bad?
No, I'm scared.
No, I quickly looked away and picked up my pace. Just 10 or so more feet to go. I heard that shuffling sound again as he moved across the carpeted office floor and felt my heart rise to my throat. By the time I had the door open, it sounded like he was probably about 20 feet behind me. I booked it down the hall and heard the office door close behind me as I rushed past the empty offices, which were dark and seemed to be gaping open at me. I managed to reach the elevator, which was lit only by the light of the red exit sign.
Elevator. You don't get to just walk right out.
Which was lit only by the light of a red exit sign and the light from the nearby stairwell. Because this guy's here at night. The lights are not on.
And it's not that summertime 6 a.m.
Right.
Ugh.
Once I reached the elevator, I began frantically pressing the button to call up to my floor. I could hear the muffled creak and grunt of it making its way up, but it's an old elevator and it's stupid slow. I hazarded a quick glance down the hallway and didn't see anyone coming out of our office. But once the elevator doors opened, I practically dived headlong into it, saying, I pressed the button for the first floor, but nothing happened. No. The button I pushed lit up, but as I mentioned, it's an old elevator and it's taking forever for the doors to close. As I waited, breathing heavily, I heard the door to our office open, and the sound of shuffling moving quickly this time, down the hallway towards the elevator. I backed into the corner of the elevator and prayed the doors would close. The shuffling sound stopped just outside the elevator view, and then my heart stopped. Slowly, this guy's head appeared, peering around the doorway to the elevator, with that stupid, unnaturally wide grin plastered on his face. His head extended further still, and I finally saw his whole face and part of his neck. His mouth was so open wide in this crazy grin that it almost looked as if he'd unhinged his jaw like a snake. His neck extended more and more and more still to an inhuman length, further cementing the image of a snake in my mind. I let out a strangled cry, and at that moment, the doors began to close. He made no effort to stop them from closing, and I thank God for that. The elevator... Sorry, I got scared. The elevator began to make the agonizingly slow descent down to the first floor. My anxiety spiked again, as I remembered the stairwell had been shedding its light on the hallway, where I had stupidly been waiting for this ancient elevator to save me. For real. That's the stairwell that he would probably be running or slithering or whatever down in order to cut me off as I exited this infernal contraption. I smacked my forehead in fear and frustration. Why didn't I just take the stairs myself? That's what we were saying, bro.
Yeah.
We were saying that to you the whole time.
No elevator. You're not gonna wait for that thing.
I would jump the stairs down.
Yeah.
I'm not just skipping steps.
No.
I'm skipping flights.
Exactly.
I finally reached the first floor and flew out of the elevator into the lobby towards the main doors. Warm morning light was filtering through the doors, and my salvation was so close. I flung open the doors and half expected to be grabbed right then and there from behind and dragged back into the building or whatever fate awaited me. That didn't happen, though. I practically ran out into my car, jumped in, and peeled out of the empty parking lot. I called my site lead right then and there and pleaded with them to put me back on the day shift. I didn't care that it was still early in the morning. There was no way I was working by myself in that building again. My boss must have heard the distress in my voice and asked me what was wrong. Now that I was out of that building, in the safety of my car, and in broad daylight, I was already starting to rationalize my experience. So all I could think to say to him was that I had a really weird run-in with some guy from GS, and that I couldn't handle another one like it. There was a pause on the other end of the phone, and for a minute, I thought I'd accidentally hung up on my lead. When he finally responded, my heart missed a beat. He told me that there had been a lot of call-outs over the last few weeks due to people catching COVID and having to quarantine. Didn't you see the email I sent, Mr. Exchange Guy? Ironically, I had it. All of the warmth drained from my face as he explained that the remaining technicians in every department had all been pulled to days, and that while there are still some techs that felt well enough to telework for their overnight shifts, I had been the only one in the building the whole time.
No!
Wasn't that horrifying?
That was the worst thing that's ever been read to me.
Isn't it so scary?
Oh, bleh. I hated it.
The idea, he paints a really good picture of the desk light illuminating his cubicle with like that warm. I know that I come from a corporate background. I know exactly what he's talking about.
Oh no,
you don't even need
such a good picture
because he paints such a good like it's a half cubicle, like you can't see it all the way up.
So with no sleep, it would be fair to say like we have to say this could be a fake story. This could be someone's beautiful writing. They could all be fake, honestly, just because it's on a different like subreddit doesn't mean it's real. But also like let's go down the avenue it is real because I already said I am a believer. Let's choose to believe.
Yeah. I want to believe.
I am a believer. It's not the branch on the window. I'll just say that from the jump. But it's just like it's so gross, especially like you're describing how like he's describing how like the neck is getting longer and like you know when you're super scared like stuff starts to look unnatural, but then you're like, was it a being where it could go unnatural? You know, like you think of, I don't know, any scary creature that can like mess with what you're seeing and stuff.
And since we're like choosing to believe, right?
I fully believe it.
I can. Oh yeah, never mind. I totally believe. I subscribe to this.
I subscribe. I literally subscribe.
The idea of being alone, like one of the last people working, is so relatable.
It's so
and you
relatable.
Can picture like I've even just like as a woman being the only person in a building where you know someone has a key to get in.
Definitely real life fears, just like being the last person. Absolutely the fear, the comfort in that like creature in the corner, like that I totally understand.
Relatable too.
Yeah, like of having to work at night. Having it be like, first of all, not me. The fluorescent lights would be on the whole time. Every light would have been on.
That's what like keeps me from being 100%. I mean, I guess there are people out there that would turn off all the lights and just leave them off.
My mom literally just has whatever light she has on, whatever room she's in. So
sometimes just the TV.
Yeah, no. Right. So she will be in the TV room or whatever, and she'll have like a little lamp on, and then she'll turn that off in the dark, walk to her bedroom, and then turn on her bedroom light. Like, not me living in her house, driving her electricity bill up because the entire downstairs was lit. If I had to walk upstairs, the hall light was on. All of this.
When I get to the top of the stairs, that landing's on.
Yeah, and then if I'm going downstairs, I'm like, why am I going to put this in the dark? We're having every light on in here.
Yeah.
Oh, no. But so she's one of the people who maybe like, for a little ambiance, like it's the middle of the night, so I'll just have like my little warm light on. Like, I could totally see her doing that.
See, okay, we kind of do that at our apartment where we have like what we call the big light, but we put this like shade over top of it so that it diffuses the light. And we don't really have a ton of lights on, but the main light illuminates a lot.
Yeah.
So we don't like to have a bunch of overhead lighting. For sure. Maybe that's a gay thing.
Well, I was going to say I don't think so, because I also don't like overhead lighting, but...
I also don't like. Sometimes I think it just gives me a headache.
These ceilings are big, so, like, the overhead lighting's fine, but, like, and also there's really no other option. But in, like, any other apartment, I would have rather had on, like, a little lamp. But not in the work. I know I would have chosen fluorescent over a little tiny lamp in a heartbeat, just because I know me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also not listening to true crime alone at
No,
night
hell
in an
no.
empty office building. I'm not working at night. Like, I can't put myself... I can put myself in the visual. I can't put myself in that situation.
Yeah, I mean, it would never happen to me because I simply wouldn't have put myself in that situation. But it is a realistic situation to imagine.
For sure. And I think it's gross that, like, he was trying so hard to meet this thing. And, like, it just happened. Especially since it wasn't a thing. So the guy, like... The being just was like...
The sound of shuffling coming at you really quickly is so effective, even in scary movies.
So, and then, like, stopping
and
beforehand. Oh, stop!
I think that's in, what is that, Annabelle Creation? Or something, where they go to the well and they hear the...
Yeah. Footsteps coming up behind you.
Yeah.
Ugh. Hate.
Annabelle Creation's a really good one.
Annabelle Creation is it's much scarier than you would expect. I remember Matt was, like... almost angry afterwards. Like, I think I said something and he was like, just stop. And I'm like, what's going on? He's like, I'm just really scared. I'm like,
just really?
I'm scared.
How tall is Matt?
I know, 6'4" guy. And he like...
He's like whimpering?
No, seriously. And he doesn't even like...
We're gonna go see a scary movie Monday.
I know. And he doesn't get scared from scary movies, or he didn't before. And so, like, that movie just was really jarring for him. I've seen that. I made everyone watch that. I was like, no, this one's scary, guys.
That one isn't actually a scary one. I've now seen it twice. It's still scary on the second time.
It is. They do a lot of good, like, tropes.
Mm-hmm.
That was a really good story.
Thank
Kudos
you.
on that story. I was cold the whole time. I literally started getting a runny nose.
I tried to, like, bring the voice down.
No, you did.
Did you guys like that?
I loved it.
Let me know at ghoulbeanspodcast on any social media.
Comment on Reddit, because I feel like people are meanest on Reddit, so, like, tell us how you really feel.
But be nice to me.
Praise me.
That being said, let's read some of the Reddit stories.
Yeah, we'll read, we're gonna read 2 people had good stories that they kind of gave us. Yeah, they, like, actually sent it to us personally, so.
Well, we would love to hear yours. You can email them at ghoulbeanspodcast@gmail.com, or you can DM us, basically on any social media. Mm-hmm. It's Ghouls Podcast.
Ghouls Podcast at Reddit. You can be your own commenter, poster on our page? Subreddit? Subreddit is not it, right?
I don't know what the terms are. You can message us what the terms are as well.
Someone explain it
Reddit
to me.
literacy.
Okay, so I'm going to read one from Reddit user GoatBreath37.
I
Thank
love
you.
GoatBreath37.
Oh, wow, look good. Very, very picturesque. So, thank you for giving us your story, GoatBreath37. The 37th Goat Breath. So here goes. I don't know if it counts, but I was at work one night, standing in the kitchen with my 2 other coworkers, doing whatever the hell they were doing elsewhere. And I felt someone stepping up behind me and thought it was one of them coming to scare me, so I turned around and nobody was there. I stepped out of the kitchen and neither of them were remotely close. It's pretty cliche, but it's kind of scary. Lol.
So I like that. Okay, so that's
it was short.
Yeah, it's short, but I like that it's like everybody kind of has that experience where it's, in my opinion, it's unexplained. It's unexplained,
and I'm gonna interject my own story, because Please. This is why we started a podcast, to talk about ourselves, really.
Yeah, we're the boss of this.
But this exact thing happened to me over COVID. So Matt, my partner, is a nurse, so he was a important worker. What do they call them? Essential.
Important workers.
The important ones. Not essential me. Workers. I got laid off.
Yeah, I got laid off in the beginning.
But
they were looking for a reason.
He was essential, so life didn't really change for him, except that I was home all the time, so it probably got better. It got better.
Yeah, better.
Anyway, I was making cookies, and the way our kitchen was, like, to be working at the counter, working on the stove, like, there was a little kind of entryway into the kitchen, and the kitchen's very small, and then the entryway, the way I had my couch set up, it kind of created a little hallway. Do you remember in Savannah?
Oh, yeah. You lived in many apartments.
Yeah. So I had my little couch, like, facing the TV, so it kind of created that hallway space.
The couch, you had to have your back to the door.
Yeah, I
Nightmare.
I honestly use that setup a lot. It's that way now.
I hate that setup.
It does great things for a room. It separates. I can have a kitchen table and a couch.
But my anxiety says I need to see the doorway.
For sure. Well, I definitely don't sit on... I definitely have to, lay down when I watch a scary movie so my back isn't exposed.
You have... Almost all of your apartments have had a really open setup.
Yeah.
I live in an old Chicago apartment where rooms are, divided, but I have, these big archways.
Yeah.
Which kind of offer, a divider.
Yeah. And that would have been great, but I didn't have that.
No, you didn't.
So I created a hallway and a divider with the couch. So anyway, I was making cookies and I was decorating them hunched over, really working hard. And I swear to God, I knew in my heart of hearts Matt was home and he walked up to me, walked up to my back. If I didn't turn around, he was gonna hug me from behind was the vibe.
And you were bracing for it because you were that's Matt.
I was bracing for it.
Sick.
And so I turned around, nothing.
Oh,
and I instantly was just cold and nauseous. And I was like, oh, fuck, no. And this is when I bought the haunted child violin, so it was my fault.
Oh, God. We have to get into that. It's safe to say that I can tell. My opinion is trusted when things are haunted. If somebody wants to know if something's haunted, they always turn to me and go, do you think that's haunted?
Yeah, we'll be in Goodwill, and I'm like, which of these items can I buy?
Not a lot of them, guys.
Literally don't.
But yeah, Kelly came home one day with a old, I mean, we're talking 1800s violin, a fiddle.
I bought it at the swap meet.
It was falling apart.
No, it was a flea market. It's worse.
You don't even know the history.
I made the golden mistake, and I broke the golden rule, really. And I'm the perpetrator of that rule. I'll be like, no, you can't get that. I'm not gonna live in a haunted house. To my mom, to Matt, to anyone. I'm not gonna come to your apartment.
You are such a hypocrite.
I know. And I was like, I've always wanted to learn the violin.
You weren't gonna learn it on this. This was you couldn't touch it or it would fall apart. It was
for
decrepit.
a sick Victorian boy.
Yeah, a little sickly Victorian boy used to play it and cry.
And then come and hug me from behind, which is what happened. So yeah, no, I picked this story because it very much rang true in my heart as a very off-putting experience, especially because in your head you're like, got him. They're coming up to behind. They're trying to trick me. You're not going to get me today.
Gotcha.
And then, you look like an idiot. You got me.
Ew. And then I think about, I know it's, I in those moments, I have an out-of-body experience where I can see myself turning to nothing.
Literally, you can replay it and you're like, that's disgusting. Mm-hmm. And so it didn't feel, it felt gross in a gross way, but it didn't feel like spooky. I'm going to get stabbed if I turn around. Yeah. So, and then I looked at the clock and it was 3 hours until Matt was even supposed to be off. And I was like, my idiot face, what did I think was happening right now? So, it's easy to get caught up in a ghost scare. But I turned around and I was decorating the cookies facing the doorway. And I was like, you're not going to get me again.
Never again. Actually, it did get you.
It did get me again, but then I threw the violin out and things got better.
I told you have to.
I'm mad. We were going to bring it to Goodwill, and because I didn't want, I didn't want to throw it out and then, come back in and find it on my table.
Creation style.
Yeah. I sound like a psychopath. But, so I was like, no, we can't just throw it out. We have to, give it back to the world.
Yeah, because, according to movie lore.
Right. If you throw it out, you are walking into the house from the garbage can.
And it's sitting on your coffee table.
And now you've disrespected it.
Yeah. Now you've started a beef with the violin spirit.
Now they're like, I thought we were okay. I thought you respected my property. Okay. And now I see the true you.
You revealed yourself to me. It would start playing.
Ew, no, that's what I'm saying. You walk in, you hear ghost violin music. You just hear screeching because there were only 3 strings on this one and they were all out of tune.
I always wanted to learn the violin. I would have bought you lessons. It was
my mom. It was my mom. She was like, I'll buy it for you. And she knows. She was like, the second you bought that, I was like, why are you doing this? You know this is haunted.
Kelly pulled out this violin. She goes, I have something to show you. In her apartment. Pulls out this violin. It did not even make it in front of me before. It's haunted. It's haunted. It's so haunted. It was dripping with haunted.
I think at that point, something had already happened. I was like, I know, but I can't get rid of it because I'm scared.
I'm not kidding. That's what you said verbatim. That's literally exactly what you said.
Yeah. So I don't buy stuff from secondhand things unless it's really cool.
Girl, even then.
Well,
I mean, you opened it and it was like dusty.
The cool things are always haunted. You know what I mean? Because, like, if you're gonna die, you're gonna catch it. No.
The vintage stuff is always haunted.
That's what I'm saying. But the cool vintage stuff, or the scary stuff.
Yeah.
The violin wasn't cool. That was my bad for sure.
The violin wasn't cool. It wasn't pretty. It looked like a prop. It was so scary.
It looked like a prop for Annabelle too.
Should we read one more?
Yeah. You read one from another person that viewed us. Yeah.
Okay. This is Reddit user Reddit TVDO.
Redditty. Reddity-doo.
Reddity-doo. Goyles being goyles. Reddity-doo. Thank you for your story. Once in the early hours of the morning, probably around 2 or 3 a.m., I had a dream that the front door was open and there was a woman standing there with her back to me. In the dream, I approached her and she floated towards the lounge in a mist and turned to face me. Her jaw dropped wide open, Jesus Christ, and pointed past me towards the door as if to scream. I went cold and woke up all scared. Something told me to check the front door and it was wide open. I built up the courage to shut it and ran back to the bed with chills, wondering what the fuck just happened. Okay.
Another shorty but goody.
Another shorty but very goody, because it's like an intuition thing. Like, this one could be written off as like your subconscious like knew the door was open, so you like went and did it.
But that means you, in your sleep, heard your door open. My leg hair is growing.
I wish mine was. I have a tingle up my spine, because that is another really normal fear.
Yeah.
That someone's gonna come into your home.
For
home
sure.
invasion. You're gonna be alone after this, girl.
Shut the hell up. I wrote back to them, and so I hope they, like, respond, but I was like, how on earth did you have, like, the courage to go, like, close the door? Or close the door and run back to your bed? I was like, how did you not just simply leave?
I'm telling you what happened. They closed the door, locked it real hard and aggressive to assert dominance. All the lights were on in the house for the rest of the night.
For sure.
We're running up comment tonight, baby. And it's going to be worth it, because I'm not going to see the wide open mouth floating ghost.
I just, like, it is. It's so horrifying. Intuition is crazy. Your brain is crazy. That is horrifying. Less like ghost, more just like...
I mean, what do you mean? I feel like that's ghost. She floated in a mist.
But it was her dream. It was his dream. Or their dream. I have no opinions.
I mean, it could have been like a sleep paralysis sitch.
For sure.
Ooh.
I say for sure a lot on this podcast, but it's just...
You say for sure and I say lore. Take a shot every time. I was going to say, on the Cuba Road episode, take a shot every time we say Cuba.
Cuba. And I say for sure a lot on that episode.
Okay, we just cut some of
them.
You
can use that one. But no, yeah, that's a horrifying story. It's a horrifying experience. I would have left. I would have slept in my car, but that's just me.
I would have asserted dominance and turned all the lights on, which I do in my normal apartment.
But that could be like a real human. There could be a real human in your house then. Now you gotta go check everything.
I know.
I'd rather just sell.
Yeah, burn it down. No, because that's another one where it's like if you leave it out and you throw it out or you burn it, it's gonna be back in your apartment.
Is bad news. Bad news bears.
Bad luck, Charlie. Don't come for us. Alright, do you want to read one more, or do you want to...
Yeah, I would love to read one more. I'm going to pick this one, because you kind of touched on it for a sec. So this one is from a Reddit user, Salamander, with 3 underscores. Shout out to you for being on Reddit, I guess. And this is called Spirits or My Brain Making Things Up, which is kind of like the last one we read. Kind of. So anyway, started having sleep paralysis around the time I was 18. I've seen and heard it all and have gone through some really scary situations while having sleep paralysis. Even the ones where you think you've woken up until all hell breaks loose all over again to demonic whispers in my ear and someone touching my back. Ugh. So just trust me, I've gone through some shit. Ha ha. Eventually, over the years, I figured out a way to get out of sleep paralysis ASAP. I don't get it as much anymore, and whenever I do, I break out of it before it even gets intense. But this one instance was extremely peculiar and really tripped me out. I was in a dream. I don't exactly remember what I was dreaming about. It was just a very regular, non-happening, random kind of dream. I suddenly started feeling uneasy and a sense of dread fill me in the dream. I couldn't understand why, and the feeling of dread started to intensify. I felt like I was being watched. And so in that very moment, I woke up. I hadn't opened my eyes yet. It was when I was just coming to. I felt shuffling on the bed covers right behind my back, as if someone was rubbing their hand against the bed right behind me. And then a whisper from the other side of my bed said, "Don't wake him up, like." I opened my eyes very quickly and lifted my head off the pillow to make sure I was awake, and I felt my eyelids were really heavy, which meant I was having slight sleep paralysis. Eventually, I just went back to sleep and didn't think much of it. It wasn't until later in the day where I remembered this had happened, and the more I thought about it, the more creeped out I got. I was having sleep paralysis, but was unaware of it at the time. In the dream, I felt like I was being watched, to waking up to the shuffling and the whispering telling me whatever was causing the shuffling to not do that. It was all just so specific and correlated. I've had really, really scary sleep paralysis moments, but this one was just so weird. Sleep paralysis scares the shit out of me.
I was gonna say, that was weird today, but it might not be weird tomorrow.
I think what scares me the most is, like, there is no current, like, reason for it. Like, scientists, sleep studies, no one can figure out why it happens.
I think really a lot of people say stress-induced, which is totally
stress-induced, but, like, there's physically no chemical reason why your brain should or why your body wakes up without your brain waking up, or vice versa, or, like, parts of your brain don't wake up.
Yeah.
And what also scares me is that it is always, like, there's a lot of common threads in sleep paralysis. We should have a sleep paralysis episode because, like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's really scary. There's a lot of same themes throughout it. So, like, I do wonder, like, is it a collective, like, brain mechanic? But, like, people just experience, like, the hellish screams and, like...
A dog is a common one. A dog coming out of a closet.
Like a demon dog, though. It's got red eyes.
Black.
A man in a hat. A shadow man in a hat. Like, they're
Babadook
style. Like, it's common themes from people who, like, might not be on, like, the same forum. You know what I mean? Like, it's going from, like, old people to, like, children who, like, they not all... getting the same intel of, like, this is what I should experience, kind of thing. But yeah, so that was horrifying to me, and I don't know.
I hope you guys like this episode.
Yeah.
This is the first one.
This is the first one. Please, 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 if you have any scary experiences, or you've had a friend, of a cousin, of a aunt.
Of a sister, neighbor.
If they have something, you can let us know your little telephone version of it. I don't really care. I'm not here for, like, the real facts. I'm here for a scary time.
Yeah, here for a scary time, not a long time.
Yeah, so send any stories you have to ghoulbeanspodcast@gmail.com.
And the next episode after this that you'll be listening to
is
our adventure episode.
So please tune in, like, subscribe, follow, all the...
Rate. That really helps us out on the back end if you guys would just... A little rating if you liked it. Just don't put anything if you didn't.
Just interact with us. We love a good interaction.
Yeah.
Anyway, so thanks for joining us and...
Spilling
the Ghoul Beans!